So my question was about CBDCs, and I'm trying to connect the dots, kind of doing like a war game scenario here. We know a lot of the farm yields are going to be down. Inflation is going to continue to hit us. So I'm trying to see what the pathway is to the CBDC and how it's going to compete with, the legacy, the real crypto currencies like Bitcoin.
So CBDC is a central bank digital currency. All the central banks of the world know what I'm talking about. They listen to the Road to Ruta. They know what's happening. They've known for a long time, and they're preparing. Everybody's in finance now knows something's coming. Some people think it's going to be smooth. Some people think it's going to be not smooth. So the banks, the big banks, the central banks are creating this thing called CBDC, central bank digital currency. It's kind of like Bitcoin, except it's not. Bitcoin has limited supply. There's no way any central bank would agree to limited supply. Bitcoin has no third party attached to it. Central banks want to control that. Bitcoin has a immutable blockchain, which means you can't change the blockchain the way it's set up. There's too many people all around the world affirming the current blockchain. The bankers would want to change transactions all the time. So they're going to create the exact same thing they already have, which is a digital currency. Now, in my mind, all that does is add another layer of inflation because they're not getting rid of the old stuff. They're just adding a new type of currency that's even more. I don't know who's going to trust it. A lot of the banks are splitting off to create their own exchanges because they want the stock market, the Dow and the NASDAQ and all that to collapse, but they don't want their assets to collapse. So they're starting a new exchange over here, and they're going to let the people lose everything. Then they're going to come back in and buy it all. It's what they do every day. It's par for the course. So CBDCs, they will try to do it, but it all depends how big the crash is, truthfully. And I don't see how they get out of 2 quadrillion in derivatives by creating more derivatives called CBDCs. So, question back there. Hi.
Hi there. So what do we do? We're like I have an IRA. I switched it over to a 403b, and I put it into an IRA, and I have 60% of it in cash. It's just saved. I don't want it invested. And the other 40% is in stocks. That's, or bonds, or however he has that distributed. And I'm talking about getting silver this week. I have plans to do that very thing and to just reverse that and take the 40% that's in the stocks and put that all into the silver and leave the 60% alone in cash. Now, if all of this stuff bellies up and I hear all of these nightmares and all this crazy stuff that's supposed to happen, how's everybody? How are we going to all pay our mortgages, and what are we going to do? There's no cash. What do you do? And how do you pay things with a block of silver?
Those are great questions. Yeah, keep going. There's a hell of a lot more.
Well, there is too. Yeah. There is. It's like my other issue is this. We all know this. The conservatives, the independent conservatives, the Republican conservatives, the Trumpsters, the supporters, all of those most of those people know this. What are we doing? Why is everybody scared? The left isn't scared. They've got Antifa all set up in George Soros. Where's our George Soros? Where's our Antifa?
It's Trump. Trump is the right, George Soros, and George Soros is the left. It's all games to manipulate the American people. They want you thinking this way on the left, this way on the right. They don't want us thinking together. They don't want us thinking of solutions, thinking about how we want to raise our kids or run our lives. We're in a fight. The war is on. It's on now. This is what I'm doing about it is this, coming out and talking about it. What you're doing, you showed up at this, and hopefully you'll talk to your friends. It's really hard to talk to people in California. Let me tell you, I have family members who refuse to talk to me about this stuff. A lot of them, actually, most of them say, no, shut up, Bix. Drink your wine. Yeah, it's all those questions. And the funny thing is, a lot of that question you just asked are in the Road to Riches Teacher's Guide. The Federal Reserve is asking those same questions. When the system falls apart, the key question of that whole thing is, who's going to be the decider of the next system? Who has the confidence of, what are we, 8 billion people on the planet? Who are we going to believe? Nobody. That's the beauty of cryptos, truthfully. It's, in gold and silver, you don't have to believe in anybody. You got it in your hand. It could be that we just, whatever you got, you make a way. As Cliff High says, that the future is make a way. Figure out where you're going to get your food. Figure out where you're going to get your water. Figure out how to take care of your family, how to protect yourselves. It might come to that, But then again, I do think there's good guys behind the scenes who have been planning this for, since 1913, at least. And maybe they have a good plan. And that everybody will say, okay. But I don't know who would present that plan. I mean, can you name anybody that both sides trust to, take care of us? I don't know of anybody. That's what we need, is someone that everybody trusts, and I don't think that kind of person is out there today. At least, I trust my mom. My mom would do a great job. Captain America. We need a Captain America. So, next question, please. What time are we looking at? I lost track of everything. 6:30. Holy shit. I guess I'm not taking a break. Oh, yeah, I got to play that. That's the final, maybe. Yeah.
So I just want to go along with that the conversation earlier about what's going to happen next. Like I mentioned, my war game scenario situation here. So
please tell us what the conclusion is.
Let me know if this makes any sense. So usually whoever's they have the usual playbook they have. So they usually create a situation where we're very fearful, very much in pain, and then they insert their solution, right? So we all know. Okay, I think all of us might know that the CBDCs is coming up next. So all of us, we know what to do, right? We know, we have our homestead, we have, our physical, everything's in our hand. But the problem here is, like 99.9% of the rest of Americans, they're not thinking this way. So what I'm imagining is that there's going to be a point where it's not quite Mad Max, but we're going to have some sort of food riots, very close to like the Summer of Love, and in 2020 we had all those riots. So and then the inflation's going to be so hard that they're going to have an app that they're going to say, hey, download the USPS wallet and you can have your Fed coin, and we're actually going to fund it with 5,000. We're going to like airdrop something, and then that's how the masses will go into CBDC. And it's not going to, I think that's going to be how they differentiate between Bitcoin. People aren't going to really know what the difference is. So I think does that sound?
That's
crazy.
That's definitely their plan.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
I think what the big thing in your scenario planning is, what you're missing is the loss of faith in those who are deciding. There's going to be some really mad people when they lose their life savings. Wouldn't you be mad? And would you allow Jerome Powell to put in a CBDC? He's the guy who caused your problem is going to be your savior too. They want that. But when faith and confidence are lost, look at Zimbabwe. What happened? They did CBDC. I have a $100 billion Zimbabwe bill on my desk. It's worth less than the paper it's printed on. They screwed up a good piece of paper by printing a $100 trillion bill. So that's what people will be thinking. The Jerome Powell's of the world, the Bank of America's, the JP Morgan's, they'll be lucky to get out of this alive, truthfully. And our government politicians, when we find out what they've been doing, don't even get me started. So, yeah, that's their plan. It's not going to go so well, is my take. Hi.
Okay, in the top income bracket in California, state tax is 12.3%. Of course, federal is 37%. But that's quite a pretty heavy additional burden California puts on us, plus the cost of gas and the,
No, Gavin
Sales
Newsom
tax.
says he's going to pay for everybody's gas.
So how, I love California and I'm kind of, because of my work, I have to stay here. But do you ever think about, like, whether there's any hope for California for labor-minded people?
I live behind enemy lines. I love my state. I think people are smart enough in California. When we're told the truth of what's going on and who Gavin Newsom is and what he does in his off times, stuff like that, I think there'll be enough angry people in California to take back our state. I don't think the federal government's going to last. I think our federal government will be dissolved. And just go back to the Constitution. The federal government's supposed to be tiny. Everything's down to the state as far as that is concerned. And people are learning that in the whole Roe versus Wade thing. It's unconstitutional. That whole thing was, read the Constitution. It's up to the state. But I do think that if Californians are told the truth, we have an extremely brilliant citizenry. And we got all these smart guys down in Silicon Valley. We have so much gold down in Southern California. We have beautiful beaches and mountains, and it's still the best state in the union, if you ask me. It's run by incompetent psychopaths. It's taxed. It's people moving out of California just because California wants to, feed the drug dealers. I don't know what is going on in California that makes it such a backwards place, other than media has a big say in it, and censorship is just horrific these days. Again, I was kicked out of YouTube last week, and I have to dance every day on what I can say. If this was live on YouTube, like Bitcoin Ben will post live on YouTube his discussions, and he's on his like 4th channel. Just the stuff we talked about is not allowed in America anymore, and it's shocking. I can choose not to go on YouTube. The problem is it's the biggest by far platform. I have 100,000 subscribers, a lot of people. But it is a public square. People say, Bix, YouTube is a private company. In-Q-Tel, the investment arm of the U.S. military, was one of the founders of YouTube and Google and all the high-tech firms. My taxes paid for YouTube, so don't tell me it's not a public square. It is a public square. They made it big so they can spy on us and control us with language and all the stuff they're doing now. Truth Social. Go to Truth Social. It might work, but I don't know any Democrat who's ever going to go on Truth Social. And we need both sides. I mean, we need both sides of America to get our country back. All we have to do is be truthful and honest about what's really happening. And then, people aren't that different. People will get together. I know, I'm, again, behind enemy lines. That's my take.